Hi everyone! I'm up on the Citrus Twist Kits blog today for the Sunday sketch post, and I decided to use this one sketch in two different ways. The first is going to be a spread in my Life Crafted album documenting some crafts I've been working on this month. And the second is going to be a card that I'm planning on giving to a coworker who's leaving us at the end of this month. And both are going to feature the new Handmade Mini Kit and digitals from Citrus Twist Kits. Let's get started with the Life Crafted album spread first. I decided to make the right side of this sketch into the right page of my spread, and the left page is just going to be one large spot for journaling. I'm starting off with the 3 photos in this sketch, and I decided to use these Instax frames from the Handcrafted Digital Elements kit, as well as another one of these elements that I'm going to use as the journaling spot at the bottom of the sketch. Next, I'm just choosing some pattern papers from the Handcrafted Traveler's Notebook Basics and Patterns digital papers, and I'm just picking out a few that will go well with the colors in these Instax frames and help make these Instax frames kind of pop up a bit more. As I'm picking these out, I am cutting them down to scale according to the sketch, but I'm not worrying too much about the exact measurements. And to number my photos with the numbers 1 to 3, I'm going to cut apart this pattern paper with all of the squares of stitched hearts on it, and use each square to back the numbers 1 to 3 using the black puffy alphabet stickers from Citrus Twist. Now that I have most of my main elements that I want on my page, I am going to start adhering these down with my Tombow Mono permanent adhesive tape runner, just starting with the pattern papers in the background first. And before I adhered my numbers and photos down, I did decide that these squares with the numbers on them were kind of blending in with the background a bit, especially towards the top where I just have a bit more white space. So I'm going to ink up the edges with my Distress Oxide inks to make them pop up the page a bit more. I'm using the colors Abandoned Coral, Mermaid Lagoon, and Wilted Violet to match the colors of those stitched hearts. And I do like using my Tailored Expressions blending brushes to ink these edges up. And now that that's done, I'm just adhering everything down into place. For the title of this page, I picked out this puffy sticker that says Making Things. This is from the Handmade Puffy Sticker Sheet. And because I'm going to use the entire left page of the spread for journaling, I don't really need to include any journaling on this page, so I chose to fill up those spaces with some more puffy stickers from the same puffy sticker sheet, as well as some ephemera pieces from the Handmade die-cut ephemera package. Moving on to the left side of the spread, I've printed out this TN paper from that same set of digital papers. This one has a huge empty spot in the middle that's perfect for journaling. And I printed my journaling onto some clear sticker paper to add onto my pattern paper. Now, if you haven't already printed out all of these papers like I have, you can add the journaling directly onto the pattern paper on the computer before printing it out. But I like to print out all of my digital products before I dive into my projects, just so that I can see everything that I have to work with. So clear sticker paper is great for adding journaling after the fact. I did add another one of those ephemera pieces to the top of my journaling, just stapling it on either side with my Tim Holtz tiny attacher to give it a bit of texture, and that completes my spread. And here are some photos of that finished layout. The photos of me crafting in my craft room are not very well lit because my craft room is quite dark, and so I really appreciate having all of these bright and fun pattern papers to help brighten up my spread. Next, I'm working on my card, and because my A2 size card is only 4¼ inches wide by 5½ inches tall, I'm just going to use that right part of the sketch as the basis for my card, and ignore the blank space in the left portion of the sketch. I'm starting out with some more of these stitched heart squares that I've cut out from the digital pattern paper, and I'm going to use these in place of the photos and journaling spot in the sketch. For my pattern papers, I'm mostly just using up some scraps that I have left over from creating that Life Crafted album spread, although I did change the placement around for most of those pattern papers. I'm just going to ink up the edges of these heart squares again to make them stand out a bit more on the pattern papers. And this time I'm using the colors Mermaid Lagoon, Abandoned Coral, Peacock Feathers, and Wild Honey in the Distressed Oxide inks. And again, just adhering these down into place with my tape runner, starting with the pattern papers in the background, then moving on to these stitched heart squares. In place of the numbers in the sketch, I'm going to be using these mini heart buttons from Dress It Up. And that's just because I don't think having numbers would be really appropriate for like kind of this greeting card. And I also love how the colors of these buttons just so happens to go with the colors in this kit from Citrus Twist. I did try adhering these buttons down with some liquid glue. This is Gina K Connect glue, and it's usually my favorite adhesive for adhering any plastic or acrylic pieces. But these buttons are slightly bumpy on the back, which makes them a bit harder to adhere. So instead, I'm going to stitch them down directly onto my card front. And I'll have to cover up the inside of this card with some more white cardstock later on to hide all of this thread. So I did stitch through each one of these buttons twice just to make sure that they do stay in place. And once all my buttons are stitched into place, I'm adding my sentiment in the place of that title on the sketch, which is going to be "We'll Miss You." And I'm just using my Thickers alignment ruler to make sure these letters are nice and lined up. And these are the deep turquoise puffy alphabet stickers from Citrus Twist kits. For the apostrophe in wheel, the puffy sticker sheet doesn't come with any apostrophes or commas, so I'm going to have to cut off the tail end of one of these letter Q's, which I think works pretty well for an apostrophe. And let's face it, we never use those letter Q's anyways in our alphabet sticker sheets. And after that's done, I'm just covering the back of that card front with some more white cardstock. I did use some score tape as well to secure all those threads in place, just in case the knots got untied somehow. And there's my card all done. I really love how both these pieces turned out. I had found that last year, since I was getting more into scrapbooking, I wasn't really making time for card making anymore, and my stash of pre-made cards is getting kind of thin every month of the year. So I think these sketches are a great way for me to start making cards again, especially because I already have all these crafting supplies out. And I love that this kit from Citrus Twist Kits is versatile enough that I can use it as it was originally intended to document my crafting projects, but I can also use the pattern papers on a friendship type card, and the patterns work just as well. If you haven't already, make sure to check out the Citrus Twist Kits shop for these products and more. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. If you liked this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more crafty inspiration. Thanks so much for watching!